Hey everybody, in this video I am going to show you what it's like to be an understudy during Tech Week of a play. We'll look behind the scenes of Tech Week and talk about the challenges that come with understudying after the bump. Hey everyone, I'm Doug Fall, your augmented actor, helping you augment your acting career with tips, tactics, and tech. This is part 2 of a 4-part video series. If you haven't seen the first part, you can click on the play link up above or down in the description below and start from the beginning if you want. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get on with the show. That was the green room. We're walking down the hallway now behind backstage at Village Theater. I'm gonna go into the auditorium now. So we're in the auditorium now, and this is the stage behind me. It's a very open air set, and this is the house of Village Theater. You can't see me really well, but I'm in the cry room at Village Theater. This is a room that is shielded by glass, where you can see the action on stage behind the audience. And the understudies can sit in here and talk, run over their lines, run through the show while it's happening.
I find people confused. This is for 2 main reasons. The first main reason is that people do a lot of talking without using any words.
So it's been a few days. We are now in full-blown Tech Week. We've been in tech for about 2 or 3 days now, and the days are longer now. They're 10 out of 12, which means we rehearse 10 hours out of a 12-hour block with a 2-hour dinner break. And us understudies are doing a lot of sitting in the audience watching tech. We're not given much opportunity to go up on stage, although on the breaks we can go up and kind of check out where the tape marks are and our spikes and stuff like that. So it's a little bit laborious, but we're getting to know each other really well. We're talking and laughing and cracking jokes.
Dang it, Carol! Putting the fire to my feet!
Damn it, Janet!
I love you!
There you go.
And we're spending a lot of time running lines, and it's still fun, I think. There's a couple different kinds of understudies: internal understudies and external understudies. Internal understudies are in the show and they are playing maybe ensemble parts or something like that, but they're understudying one of the leads in the show, maybe. And there's external understudies, which is what I'm doing in this case, which is basically a dedicated understudy who's not in the show. And those understudies often cover more than one role. So if you are offered an understudy role and you don't know whether or not you're going to have much opportunity to go on, there's a thing called chain reactions, and sometimes it can happen if one person goes out of the show, their internal understudy goes on for them and you go on for the internal understudy. So in essence, you are going on anytime one of those 2 actors goes out. And sometimes a chain reaction can happen 3 or 4 people deep, depending on how big the show is and how many covers they have. But I've seen it sometimes where a person will go out and then their understudy will go on for them and their understudy will go on for them, and then a cover will come on to play in the ensemble. So if you're involved in a chain reaction like that, that increases your chances of getting the opportunity to go on. There's a sense from some understudies that they're wasting their time understudying, that it's not important enough, or that they're not good enough to do the actual role. And my thought on that is that if you're cast as an understudy, they expect that you can do the role. Essentially, they won't put you in an understudy role if they don't think you could do the role and that you're good enough to do the role. So just always have that in your mind. You're just as good as the person that was cast. You're just not the pick. Like, I turned down the potential for day jobs, and another one of the understudies in the show turned down a role at a non-paying theater to do a understudy gig in this paying theater. And sometimes you wonder as an actor if you're making the right decision when you make a decision like that. It may or may not be the right decision, but I felt like this was the right decision. I turned down consistent money in a consistent position and a couple different roles to do this understudy gig because I like the show, I like the theater, and I feel like if I get the opportunity to go on, then I can prove myself at this theater even more. I look at that as an opportunity. It's a bit of a gamble because you don't know whether you're going to go on or not, and when, and you don't know if you're going to do a good job either. But hey, you know, look at Shirley MacLaine. She went on as an understudy, and that launched her career. So, you know, anything can happen.
Alright, give me 1 moment to get sound rolling.
One of the things that we're required to do as understudies is to fit within the parameters of the artistic direction of the show. You know, so whatever the director's vision of the show is for that character that you're understudying, your job is to fit that in that path. However, there's a little bit of wiggle room. There's some parameters. So basically you got to keep the blocking the same. You have to have the same intentions and whatnot, but you know, maybe your accent's a little different. Maybe your look is a little different. Maybe your pacing's slightly different. Or maybe you put emphasis on different words or give a little bit more or less emotion or a different kind of emotion. I think all of those things are reasonable to expect for an understudy because you are a different person. You're a different vessel performing on stage, so you can't be exactly the same. But your job is to kind of mimic the actor you're understudying as best as possible.
And you want me to shake the head and do it?
There have been some understudy situations where a person has to go on without very much preparation. They are hired on as an understudy and maybe they haven't gone through understudy rehearsals yet. So you might have to carry a script in your hand, or they might modify the track of the actor slightly. They might cut you out of some dance numbers that you don't know yet and add other people into them. Or they might just sort of absorb certain scenes or lines that can be said by another character. There's all kinds of things that happen, especially if it's an emergency situation. Usually the stage manager will get back behind the scenes and will say, let's make a plan. And they'll divvy up the roles and the responsibilities, and they'll say, let's change this choreography, and then it's go time. The most important thing is that you try to make the show go off. So whatever you got to do it, you might be in an exciting situation like that sometimes. So look out for that too. Just got out of my costume fitting for Ed and the priest and all that stuff, and it's great. I get to wear my own skins and stuff and face pants and whatnot, and then I'm going to use their jackets and hats. They all seem to fit, even Rob's like much shorter than me, but his jackets all fit me, so that's great. By the way, we've had both of our audience previews where we have an invited audience, and they both went really well, and I've noticed each time I've seen the show recently that they've made a lot of changes, little minor changes throughout. They've added elements, they've changed a few things, cut a few lines, that kind of stuff. So you got to be flexible as an actor and as an understudy in being able to roll with the constant changes. We just did opening night. This is the cast hanging out on the red carpet after opening night. It was a really solid performance, and I'm excited to get started with understudy rehearsals coming up.
All right, everyone, here we go.
Remember to continue on to part 3, where we will take you into the proper understudy rehearsals after the show has already opened.